Let's watch some high elo stuff here. Ooh, I'd like to see you play Jayce, actually. Let's look at that. I'm a tough critic when it comes to Jayce. He can freeze it. Everyone's playing so bad! We didn't guard blue, did we? Oh no. Oh no. We're getting the Mundo cheese. Is this guy allowed to do this? This is such a gimmick. Imagine if Jayce just pokes his head in here. This is so dangerous. And Wukong's not even guarding. He's not even helping. Oh god. This is why, like, I always say sometimes you got to do weird stuff. I always say it's like to keep people honest, you know? Like, just do weird stuff from time to time in games to keep people honest. Because this, like, he's gonna get a huge open because of this, because no one knows it's happening, and it's because of this is like when I talk about with the higher elo guys. I talk about this all the time. It's like, if you play too many games, eventually there just comes a point where you just do something dumb that you normally never do, and it like fucks with the session because it actually changed the outcome of a game. And it's like, if you were like fresh, like if you came into the day fresh at like 9 a.m, you're fresh, you slept, you're good, you would probably have checked this. You probably would have just poked your nose in here and checked it. I was tilted off my last game. This one, yeah, word. Nah, it's all good. It's tough. Like I make the mistake. I feel like even in high elo, I feel like we make these mistakes. This is all standard. It's just important that we try to minimize. That's all it is. It's the sneaky little mental game of League. I mean, so like, I just imagine autoing this guy a couple times and flinging a Q at him would have been enough to force a flash. And then this game, I think it changed the whole outcome from the early. But I'm not going to obsess over that because that's not everything here necessarily. So if I'm you and I'm playing Jayce here, and like I said, I nitpick really hard with this champion. I played this champion a lot. And the biggest thing that you would really want to be doing in this lane is you don't want to handshake any damage if you can avoid it. Versus this guy, I would really just contain and keep our health high. You can try to bully this guy early, but it's going to get you depending. And here's the problem, because we know this open, and I've kind of cheated a bit by knowing the open, it fucks with things quite a bit, right? This is why our opens have to be very, very solid on Jayce. These little cheeses and weird gimmicks, you have to know what's going on, because if we don't, guys, it's probably more painful that you made this mistake on Jayce than other champions, if I'm being real with you. Because the whole point of playing Jayce, like, I think that you could have probably pushed into him, and I probably would have, because it's a Mundo jungle and I have a Sejuani and she's pathing top. But if you're going to do this, you also have to make sure to guard blue, because that is an extension of the play that I'm thinking. Because I would love to kill Wukong early if he has no ignite, or not even kill him early, but I'd love to pressure him and unlock Prio and come down here and take Scuttle and do all that. So I'm not sure I'm a huge fan of this kind of like passive play here, but if he has ignite, then this is okay what you're doing, I think. But at the same time, you've got to do it in a way, you've got to auto through from the get-go, and then get the slow push going, and then commit to like a 3-wave crash, basically. Because that's going to give you your best bet of doing anything useful in the early game. Now, here's how this lane is going to go. If you don't early item, and when I'm saying early item, I'm talking about if you don't do something like sneak in another Doran's Blade, if you don't do something like maybe get an early Tabbies, this lane is going to kill you, because it kills every Jayce, and this is where the NA Jayce meme comes from. And the NA Jayce meme is mostly revolves around itemization choices, and I mean, wave management is the other one, which I don't really like how you played the wave state, but I think it actually benefits you here because of what happened. I think it benefits you to play passive, which I wouldn't have played passive, but like, it makes sense because you didn't know that this guy had taken this, so it changes the whole fucking thing. Yeah, I feel like one of the biggest errors here would be not leveraging. I could understand that you wouldn't want to pressure Wukong in a matchup where, I don't know, let's say that you've got some just like lukewarm, like bottom tier trash jungle pick, and the enemy team's got like, I don't know, an Elise or something. Elise is always my go-to example. But when you've got a Sejuani versus a Mundo, like I fist pump the early game. I would just be achieve the slow push, poke him aggressively, get into warding the enemy jungle or helping with scuttle or looking for an early TP. This is an option as well. Early TP to bot is definitely unlockable. And yeah, Accept is saying if it's not possible, like if you can't play for prio early, a dodge might be advised. And I kind of agree with him because Jayce is a little dangerous. But I will say that even if I despise the jungle matchup, I would rather ping my jungler, play for like a big wave crash and an early TP than play passive with Jayce. Because it always just is low agency crap, in my opinion. Because one thing, and I really want to kind of belabor this a little bit. One thing that I really like about Jayce in a solo queue environment, where I think he gets a lot of value that often goes underutilized, TP flanks early in bot. Much like when mid laners do it, Jayce gets really good value out of it. Because he can get prio in so many matchups, the move, the big game-winning move, TP flanks to bot, or even mid, if you can find good ones, but they have to be unlocked through this. And we're not going to be able to get it now, I don't think. Although it looks like you're trying now. Let's see what you do with it. So I'd probably swap to melee form a little earlier when Wukong realizes that he's on defense. Look at our mana. Melee autos give mana back. Range autos do not. Okay? Because like I'm just going to sit in front of him with melee form at this point. Now you do it. Okay, this is absolutely useless, what you're doing right here. I don't even hit the tower here. TP here. I wouldn't TP here necessarily, but this would be where I would look. I don't really see a... Like, there's no point in hitting this tower. Hitting this tower is redundant. You're not doing anything. Touch the brush. Or, alternatively, path straight down. Here. To stress out the Wukong and look TP. Or get around this wall, look for TP. Lots of options. Come back here, look for TP. This is useless. You're not doing any damage to this. You might as well be throwing marshmallows at the tower. Recall is also an option, yes. But what I'm more concerned with with Jayce is I want to make sure that every Jayce player, when they get the shove early, they look for this, because otherwise, why are we playing Jayce? Because Jayce's early TPs are strong. Jayce doesn't have an ult, people. He doesn't have an ultimate, so scrappiness is underrated. Early game scrappiness is underrated. Use it. Cool. Okay. So we get the solo kill because this guy's a literal idiot, which is cool. So we decide that we're going to back. All right. What do we do with it? Is this real? He can freeze it. Everyone's playing so bad. Okay, so he can freeze this. You should not have taken any more than this plate. What is going on? Wukong will spike 6 soon on this wave. So Wukong, all he has to do is keep Jayce interested, and Wukong can turn this lane around right now. So when Jayce backs off here, Wukong can just move like this and keep Jayce interested till 6. Oh, no, actually, wait, no, he can't. No, he can't. I'm wrong. He's not close enough. He's not as close as I thought. But if I was Wukong, I would probably, of all the plays that I've seen Wukong do here in this game, actually, no. I would, dude, if I was Wukong, no, I wouldn't have let Jayce back. I would have frozen anyways. I don't give a shit. Because Wukong's level 6 is so good into Jayce. Jayce has bounty. I would have stayed. Or I would have froze and tried to keep Jayce in. Yeah, because with Jayce, see, here's the thing though. What we're not thinking about, Jayce can't feel comfortable because Jayce isn't magical. Jayce does not know when Wukong's about to hit 6. He has no idea. So if Wukong goes up here and goes just like this and walks up because he has Corrupting Pot, right? This is what Camille's saying in chat. He has Corrupting Pot, right? Wukong. So Wukong can tank this a little bit and then he can W and just kind of waddle around back here. If Jayce walks up, he just walks back, right? Whatever. So if Jayce walks up, he just walks this way. But by then, we can get the next wave here. And Jayce will, his backs are going to start getting ugly. Look, Jayce does not feel great about this. Seriously. So if he can keep Jayce interested, this could be really good. So once Jayce backs, let's see what you buy. Because this, if you don't buy like a... Oh, you went with the free boots. I would honestly be buying, like, I don't know, some health or something just for this all-in that's going to come. Yeah, that's the thing is I don't even know if the free boots are good here. I think biscuits and time warp is probably best. Or let's go domination second with healing runes. Yeah, that's not a bad option either. Yeah, and we're going conquer anyways. That's fine too. But he could still go biscuits and time warp too. That's not, time warp isn't like just useless. If he's going refillable anyways, it's not like it's troll. Resolve's an option with bone plating if we're scared of all ins. I think we are, so that's an option as well. It's whatever your preference is. There's a lot of things here. I probably, if it were me, I like biscuits a lot. I probably just would have went biscuits and corrupting pot here if we're trying to get tabbies out early. I fucking love it. I fucking love it. Yeah. So like this it's so stupid. But this is why, you see what I'm saying, guys? This is why I was hyping up trying to keep Jayce interested here. It's because at 6 is so stupid. It's the stupidest lane. All right, what did you do though? Hold on, let me see this again. You're in melee form. That's the mistake. You got lazy with it. You got lazy with it. And then you swapped to range around the same time. So just for reference, you definitely got mind gamed here pretty hard by this guy. What he did is a hell of a lot less skillful than what you would have to do in order to beat him, which is, and I was kind of distracted by talking about itemization, but this is what you do. So when you come back to lane, you shouldn't be hitting the minions right now. You should be just last hitting until you know where Wukong is. Okay. So this is why Jayce is like probably, in my opinion, one of the hardest champs in the game, because not only do your mechanics have to be on point, but then you have to do little nuances like this really, really well. So I would have actually just stayed here. If we're playing like perfectly, you stand here and you just last hit until we know what's going on and where the Wukong is. Okay. So you would basically just stand here and then just kind of inch forward, auto. You're playing in an elo where you've probably seen more of this, especially in mid game. You would want to pick somebody off in the brush and they kind of sit in this angle. You see this a lot. It's a very useful angle in situations like this. Unfortunately, the situation that you ran into is gross because the guy actually does come up with a good idea. And he gets extra lucky that you don't have any way to survive the all-in with like no early tabbies. This is also why at the beginning of this, I talked about double Dorans might be an option, just because the initial all-in is so annoying that you could consider that as well. This is also the time warp tonic. This is why I talk about the time warp tonic too. Just helps a little bit with the all-in. Resolve's good as well. Might have made you live. Domination, better scaling, but then you would have to make sure to not get caught by this at all. But it's basically just this lane is a test of, do you believe in the rules of the lane, right? And Camille, since you're here, what would you say the rules of this lane are for Jayce? Because this does no good if you don't internalize it anyways. Play it safe, assume every cheese is gonna happen. Thank you. That's actually a pretty good rundown. Yeah, it's a pretty good rundown. Assume it. If it can happen, it will happen, right? And it's a lesson that stems from level 1. Although I'll be honest with you, I don't really think the level 1 really changed much about the game. You ran into a bit of an inter on this guy, but it's Wukong, right? And you're playing Jayce. So Jayce takes a lot of effort mechanically and mentally. All right. He is the Nidalee of top lane. I would say he's more viable than Nidalee is though right now. I would say, because he can carry really fucking hard mid to late game. Pretty good scaling now. But you have to make sure that you're engaged. So it's basically like you play Dark Souls, you go the same route, face the same enemies over and over again, and you just kind of have that like mental lapse, right? And you just kind of die. This would be that, because technically all this is, you avoid this even with your items the way they are. If you just stay here and just last hit until you know where Wukong is, you would have built the giant wave, and then you would have got level 8 and you wouldn't have died. And then also tabbies, rush, and all that stuff. And then now, because you die here, now you don't have TP. Sejuani's bot side. I imagine the game kind of gets ugly. Because Wukong, he sees that you're not going tabbies, huh? And he's going to try to cheese you. He's going to try to cheese you on every R. That's what's going to happen. His R's up soon. And there it is. And we'll talk real quick. Positionally, I don't know what the fuck you're doing here. You can't go near this. Yeah, you can't even go near, like, you should be like here, bro. Like when I'm watching this, like my Jayce muscle is twitching. Like you keep posturing. Like I'm not posturing this at all. No flash. I guess faking here is fine, but like when you step forward, my Jayce muscle is like, oh my god, get away from this. Why are we even near this? That's what I'm thinking. So yeah, tough matchup for Jayce. You have the position that you want. Let's clean up the itemization a little bit and be more mentally disciplined, resilient, and stay really focused on the nuances of the lane. If you can do that, then you can start unlocking this champion a bit more and start seeing that there's a ton of under the hood stuff that you got to think about to really make the pick work. Got it? That's a good VOD though. Good talks.